Hello friends, welcome to the session on compilers. In this session, we'll be discussing about code optimization. In this session, we will see what we mean by code optimization, what are the principal sources of code optimization, and in detail, we will discuss the loop optimization technique. Friends, as you know that you are viewing this session on my YouTube channel, Learn with Prakash Kanade, and subscribe to the channel to see many videos on the subjects of electronics and computer science. So let us start the session with the question what we mean by code optimization. We know that whenever the input source program is connected to the compiler, then at the output of the compiler, a target program is being generated. Now, this process of compilation is a very complex process. And many times we will observe that even if we connect a very small size of the source code, at the output, we will get a very larger size of the target code. So many of the people who are learning any programming language must have been observed that even if a 2-3 line code is being connected to the compiler and when we compile it, then at the output we will get a exe file which is much larger in the size. Now, this will imply that it is possible that we can optimize the code. Actually, the compiler consists of a separate phase where the code is being optimized. Code optimization, you can say, is a technique that is being used to reduce the size of the code, and also it will reduce the time required for its execution. That is, we should always attempt to reduce the size of the code, because if the size of the code is reduced, then the less memory will be required to store the code, and also it will reduce the time of the computer to execute the code. So code optimization will always an attempt to improve the execution efficiency of the program. So as shown in this diagram, we know that at the output of the intermediate code generator, an intermediate code is being generated, and this code is being connected to the code optimization phase. The code optimization phase is also connected to the symbol table and error handler. And at the output of the code optimization, an optimized intermediate code is being generated. And this code is then finally connected to the code generator so that the object code can be generated. So in the compiler, the intermediate code itself is generated so that the code optimization can be applied to it. Because if we directly generate the target code, then the optimization cannot be applied, and therefore an intermediate code is initially generated by the compiler so that we can apply the optimization techniques to the code. So code optimization technique must be such that it should be correct and it should not change the meaning of the program. That is, when you are reducing the size of the code or when you are reducing the time required for its execution, it doesn't mean that the output should get changed. The output should remain the same. So optimization techniques must be carefully designed so that there will be no change in the output of the program, even if the size of the code is reduced. Code optimization technique is applied to the intermediate code, and there are two ways of doing it. Either you can optimize it based on the machine, that is being called as the machine dependent, or you can optimize the code and it can be machine independent. So if you want to optimize it as a machine dependent, then you must know the properties of the machine. But most of the time, what we will be discussing is about the machine independent code optimization. So as far as this session is concerned, we'll be discussing only about the machine independent code optimization. There are several code optimization techniques, and basically they will consist of the uh, control flow and the data flow analysis. In the control flow analysis, what we do is that we will control the number of statements in the loop. In the data flow analysis, we will check for the use of the different variables within a program. So optimization techniques will consist of both the analysis, that is the control flow analysis, and the data flow analysis. Now we will discuss what we mean by the different sources of optimization. So as shown in this diagram, we can have the different sources of optimization, such as common sub-expression elimination, the dead code elimination, the loop optimization, copy propagation, and constant folding. So there are different sources of optimization, of which one of which is the common sub-expression elimination. Many times while writing the program, it is being found that we write the same sub-expression repeatedly in the different parts of the program. So if the same expression is being repeatedly written by the programmer in the different parts of the program, then it is possible that we can eliminate this sub-expression, that we will compute this sub-expression only once, and in the rest of the cases, this expression will be eliminated. There is another source of optimization called as the copy propagation. Suppose we have been given a statement x is assigned with y. So we can use y for x whenever possible after the copy statement. So it is not necessary to make the use of the x. Instead, we can make the use of the y. There is also many times in the program, you will find that there is a dead code. That is the code that is being not used in producing the output. So we can say that a variable is live at a point in the program if its value is being used subsequently. Otherwise, the variable is dead. A piece of the code is also dead if the data computed by that piece of the code is never used in producing the output. So in the optimization technique, such dead code is being found out and such dead code is being removed by the compiler in order to optimize it. Constant folding is another source of optimization where you can say that uh, it can substitute an expression with a constant. So whenever we have some sub-expression, and if the sub-expression is returning a constant value, then it is possible that you can substitute the sub-expression with a constant value, and that is being called as a constant folding. Loop optimization is the richest source of optimization because we know that many times in a program, the number of statements within the loop are executed. Almost 90% of the compile time is being used for execution of the inner loops only. And therefore, even if you remove one statement from the loop, outside the loop, then it will have a greater impact on reducing the number of statements in a loop. So for example, if the loop is executed 100 times in a program, and if you are able to move one statement from the loop outside the loop, it means that you are reducing the 100 statements from the loop. So the running time of the program can be improved if we decrease the amount of the instructions in an inner loop of the computer program. Now we want to discuss in detail what we mean by loop optimization. Now, before we actually start what we mean by loop optimization, it is necessary that we should convert the source code into the basic blocks. The basic block, you can say, is a block where it itself will not have any jump statement within the statements of the basic block. And all such basic blocks can also be connected by the flow graph. Say, for example, we have a source code, something of this form, where you will find that we are making the use of if-else statement within the source code. Now, if this source code is being given, then we can divide this source code into the different basic blocks. So the first few statements up to first if can be taken into the block B1. And then we will have another block B2 where it will consist of the if part of the if conditional statement. The else part is being covered in another block B3, and the rest of the part is being covered in the block B4. Now it is possible that you can connect these different basic blocks by making the use of the flow graph. Now, whenever we start, we have to start with the block B1, and then we will go either to the path of B2 or to the path of B3, depending upon the condition. Now, then thereafter, we will go to the block B4, and it will ultimately terminate this code. So you will find that whenever a source code is being given, it is necessary to divide this into the different blocks, and then you can connect these blocks together. Now, when we write the source code and when we connect it to the compiler, then an intermediate code is being generated. And such intermediate code can be divided into different blocks by the compiler, and then it will connect the different blocks by the flow graph. And then it will apply the different loop optimization techniques to the different blocks. So loop optimization can be achieved by three common techniques. The first technique is being called as a code motion. If the computation of the expression is loop invariant, then it can be removed out of the loop. So we have to see which part of the code doesn't depend upon the loop. And if it doesn't depend upon the loop, if it is not altered, then we can move such code out of the loop. And this is being called as a code motion. Another technique that is being used in the loop optimization is the reduction in the strength. So it is possible that the computation can be replaced by a cheaper expression. A cheaper expression, you can say that is an expression which will require a less CPU time. So if it is possible, then you can think of replacing the sub expressions by the cheaper expressions. And if you are able to do it, then you can say that you are achieving the reduction in the strength. Another technique that can be used in the loop optimization is being called as the induction variable elimination. Now we know that whenever we have a variable x, and this variable x can be called as an induction variable of a loop, if every time the variable x changes value, it is incremented or decremented by some constant. So if it is locked with the iteration of the loop, then such variable can be called as an induction variable. And this induction variable uh, can be eliminated in the loop. And if you are able to eliminate the induction variable, then ultimately what you are doing is that you are achieving the loop optimization. Now let us see how these different techniques of the loop optimization can be applied uh, to the loop. So we will consider a loop optimization example. Suppose this is a code, source code given to us. And now we know that there are different while loops in this source code. And we will see that when this source code is being connected to the compiler, then the compiler will produce an intermediate code, something of this form. So you will find that the first block will consist of the statements I is equal to m minus 1, j is equal to n, t1, then the value of the variable v is being computed. So then in the second block, we have a loop and where there are four statements. Then in the third block, we have another loop, isn't it? And there are again four statements. Then we have a block B4 where there is only one statement. Then there is a block B5 and there is another block B6. So one can easily observe that the source code is being given. When this source code, when uh, compiled, then we will find that such type of the intermediate code can be generated by the compiler. Now, when we will apply the loop optimization techniques to this intermediate code, then you will find that it is possible that we will keep these expressions in the first block itself. But apart from that, we can move the expression for T2 and the expression for T4 from the loops B2 and B3 outside the loop. So they can be added in the block B1 because you will find that this T2 is just nothing but 4 into I, and therefore it is an induction variable, and it is possible that you can remove this statement out of the loop. So you are able to remove the statement out of the loop, and therefore the number of the statement in the block B2 will remain only 3. Also in the block B3, you will find that the number of statements will remain only 3. That is, it is possible that without changing the meaning of the program, we are able to move two statements out of the loop. Again, if you check the block B5, then you will find that it is possible that you can eliminate the different expressions. And these expressions are eliminated because they are a dead code and they are not playing any role. Only this expression 8a2 assigned with T9 can be replaced as T5 and AT4 is assigned with T3. So you will find that this block B5 will now consist of only 3 statements. And similarly, in the block B6, you will find that it is possible that we can eliminate the different expressions so that we can have only the statements T14 is equal to AT1 and AT2 is equal to T14 and AT1 is equal to T3. So you will find that as far as the semantics is concerned, there is no difference between this code and the optimized code. But one can easily observe that we have been removing several statements out of the loop. Also, we have been removed several dead expressions. And therefore, the size of the code is now optimized. But one can easily observe that the output of the program will remain the same and it will not have any effect of the code optimization. So thank you friends for viewing the session. Hopefully you have understood what we mean by code optimization and how code optimization is being achieved. Thank you all for viewing the session.